voice is gone. It's another episode of the Going Over podcast. It is bright and early on a Sunday morning, and I am your neighborhood friendly coach, trainer, and 44-year-old promoter and 44-year-old professional wrestler. That might be the first time I ever messed that up. Zack Primetime Reeb, there it is. And I'm joined alongside my podcast partner, as always, and I think we're on episode 131, Mother Freakas, the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. Paul, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good, man. You know, just a long week. That's my biggest thing. A long week, just week. You know, Sunday, Monday off. So, got to sleep in to wake up at 5:30 to do the podcast. So, yeah, that's it almost sounds comical sleeping in to wake up at 5:30, but that's the case. Yeah, man, I'm excited, man, just to hear about your happenings as of Saturday, and obviously we are well on our way promoting Yarrington for the 21st. So we're just under 2 weeks out for that, and I don't know, man. I'm thinking about last time, right, when we were peeking out the curtain, and we were joking around, but we were serious about, like, the draw isn't great here. When we were counting the fans and saying, oh well, there's 22 people here, or whatever it was, and it ended up getting to 47 or 67 or whatever it ended up getting to. But I think we are definitely going to experience far more fans this time, because we are front row almost already sold out. So I have a good feeling about this one. We've talked 100 times about how we appreciate Larry and what he does, from a friendship, from a business, just, I don't know, just setting a great example. This dude's in fucking fantastic shape at 60, whatever, 66, 65. He says you don't know how old he is. After he was telling me that you don't know how many kids I have and all this different stuff. So Larry and I tend to try to sneak away and grab breakfast. Not always at the Lumberjack, though. Sometimes, but not always.
The old person's casino with 150 handicap parking spaces in it. Yeah, I've been there, ate the old white people food, $150 on the Buffalo machine. Yeah, Larry is in great shape, but Larry's also got a fact up shoulder that he's going to have to get shoulder surgery on as well. So I guess that is part of getting older. And that's, yeah, this weekend reminded me of just, we constantly talk about storytelling. We constantly talk about it. And it becomes an issue that I see all over the place, where everyone's like, oh, well, wrestling has changed and it's more modern now. And I feel like that's just an excuse, because it don't matter if it's modern or not. It don't matter if you do. Here's my thing. You can have a multi-man match. You can have a 6-person, I guess that's what they say, a 6-person matchup now. But if the 6 people in that matchup don't have anything to do with each other, they're just 6 random people. If you mix those people in, if you give those 6 people a reason why they have some type of a conflict with each other, then that match is going to make more sense, and there will be a story in that thing. So that's what we talk about, is storytelling. So first thing I wanted to talk about today, putting it in front of their eyes. And I don't mean the wrestlers in the back. I mean the fans. whether the audience is on YouTube, streaming apps, television, or it's just a live audience in front of at the show, putting something in front of their eyes. This last weekend, we had 8 matches in one segment. It was an hour and 45 minutes. From start to finish, there wasn't one match that didn't serve a purpose, and there wasn't one person that didn't talk on a microphone. There wasn't a story that didn't start or continue or vehicle. We ended the place with just chaos and drama. Doc's character, we introduced it in front of almost 600 fans in Oroville, and then we turn around and we go, okay, now we have to we put Sergio at the table. He brought out his new tag team. Now Sergio's over there with his conflict with Doc all night long. Doc got about 3 or 4 moments of microphone work. We sent a couple guys. We sent Maple to the table to do commentary with Sergio and Doc. We sent Shaq after his match to do commentary because it was the #1 contenders, and he went straight to the table and did commentary over the Ethan Reno matches, Ramon Corzine match, which, God, was this an impress. Ethan really came out of his shell in this one. But reasons why, face-offs after matches, where 3 different cameras, where it's at. And the one thing I want to say by putting it in front of their eyes is, right, and then I want to get going on this, putting it in front of their eyes. It's almost St. Patrick's Day. We got a new guest on the show, ladies and gentlemen. We brought out Shamrock the Leprechaun to bring the women's championship. It was a surprise by Doc. The video on the screen that they all saw, here's the Leprechaun. I made Sammy stand out there. I pushed him back out the curtain, and I made him dance for another fucking, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds. And everyone was like, are we cutting the music? And me and Karina are dying laughing over here, right? Like just dying laughing because we're making him stand in front of his thing and just continue to do his dance. And later that night, the Leprechaun, which, remember, there was a unwanted in the Leprechaun Shamrock in the Rumble where he hit him with the double stunners. When the ref went down, the music hit and Shamrock the Leprechaun came back out. But this time it was clearly not the other Shamrock the Leprechaun. But visually we put that in their eyes. But it was Maple Gramps when she removed the mask and just turned in 180 and hit these big double cutters and then nailed Annabelle with one. And now Buck and Bay, who were getting choked by the belts after the rep. Now it's time for the babies. And the show ended, and big 10-man tag was set up by Doc, because Doc even said, I'm going to give you fans a reason in 2.5 weeks to cross that bridge to watch this show the week before Extreme Measures. And what I'm getting at here is when I say, and there's layers to what I'm going to talk about today with you, putting it in front of their eyes. And that's kind of what we've been doing down there at RWF, is bringing these characters out and putting this story in front of the fans' eyes. The heels are coming out and getting the crowd pissed off so that we can tell the audience the story from our perspective to a blind audience, so that when the baby faces come out, it's not just a cold baby face coming out trying to explain a story. It's the heels rile them up, and then they give their side of the story that they feel is justified. And then the baby comes out and they go, shut these guys up. And I feel like sometimes people don't know how to go out there and tell a new audience what the fuck is going on with your business. You know what I mean? So let's just talk first, because I got some good layers to this. I really thought about this one today. Putting something in front of the fans' eyes so it makes sense later.
Right. And I think we've talked about that on a few different occasions, just, how the structure of our shows have been going as of late, with the, really trying to, to do two different things within the same show, which is, give the brand new audience an idea of what's going on so they can kind of, I don't want to say quickly catch up, but so they have an idea, like if this is the only show that they've ever been to, that they get to have an idea of what's going on from start to finish. Like there's a story within this show itself, but it's also a story that is tied into other stuff from months past as well. So if you have the fans that are there consistently, then they also are following along and they can kind of get involved in that. So, obviously the tie back of the leprechaun gimmick to the Rumble, and then showcasing it in this show, so the fans that are potentially just there for that show understand what's going on, and then later having the payoff at the end of the show checks all the boxes on those things. So that's definitely something that we've been trying to do here as well. I think it's we talk about how the crowd here over the past 16, 18 months has gone from ones that you can count on collectively everyone's hands to now it's just hundreds of people. So it is obviously it's working. It's obviously the slow build or whatever you want to call it, but word is spreading. People are going, man, I had a great time, and I'm going to bring my friend next time. So all of those things, I think, are the reason that we're doing these things and getting it in front of the fans' eyes, because you want people to go, man, I can't wait to see when this guy finally gets his hands on that guy, and I hope he kicks his ass and all these different things. So, and I don't know. I mean, you're talking about weaving every match has some sort of story, and it's very reminiscent of back in the day WWF, right? Every little thing was trying to get something further along storyline, and we've talked in the past about how you've got wrestler A is on a winning streak and wrestler B is on a winning streak, but these guys have never been in the ring together. So then that builds that mystery of, well, what would happen if this guy wrestled this guy? These guys are both undefeated. They're both, 10, 15 wins in a row. What would happen? And obviously these guys are both dominating, but they're passive, not crossed. So, trying to build that story to the fans, I think is super important, not just for the people that are in the live audience, but also, like you said, Ben, if you've got a streaming service, television, all of those things, it's giving people a reason to come to the next show and pay their money to sit in a seat and buy concessions and, merchandise and things like that. So, we're in this wrestling business because it's a business. We want to make money at it. We want to you want this to be your lone source of income when it comes to paying your bills. So those are the things that we need to do in order to make that dream a reality. So I think that's all great. And then I was thinking as you're talking about, it's also important to let the wrestlers know, like, here's what I'm thinking about for long term. So, you had mentioned a 6-person match and how if you just throw 6 people together that, there's no reason for this to happen. But if you're giving each one of these people an idea of why they're in there, then you can kind of get your performance kind of dialed into the reason that I'm in this match is because fill in the blank, and then you can kind of work your style or mannerisms or sequences to further that along as well. So I think that those things obviously tie tie in together and go hand in hand. So,
well, the thing is, like, what I mean by putting it in front of their eyes, so you chop me in the chest, right? And that became a thing even on here where I was like, God damn, why'd you hit me so hard in the chest? And I'm getting older, clearly. But what would the character of Zach Reeb, even going to Urington, where it's our second show and the first time wasn't the biggest draw in the world, what would Zach Reeb do in Urington? What would Zach Reeb do in Winnemucca? What would that character do? He would come out with a catcher's, you know what I mean? And I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the catcher's protector on and strap it in. And I'm going to say, you almost murdered me with those big hands. And I'm going to point at hometown Larry. And I'm going to say, I was in the corner. And instead of breaking up this count, you let this guy maul me when I was in the ropes in the corner. Well, I'm going to let you know something, Larry. If this happens again, I will be pressing legal action on the RWF. This is pro wrestling. This isn't, but that's, you can tell that story to the fans and come out in the heels whining, because that's what I'm doing. I'm going, you asshole, that hurt. And I'm just fucking with you now at this point. You know what I mean? But it's like wearing the protector and you ripping the protector off, and then there's something I can do. That match could end in a disqualification because you ripped my chest protection off and I was in the rope and you hit me over, and then we can ban you doing that. And that, when you finally do that, it gets this massive pop. So that's what I'm talking about, putting it in front of their eyes, man, is what story are you trying to tell? Because everybody just wants to tell the story. First, we have to have a start to this story, right? And I'm using what we're doing as an example because I'm watching it work. So we build the big bad Shaq Wolf up, right? We build him up, undefeated so far, 5-0. And that fifth match was the number one contenders match. And then we send him to the table. But in this process of building him up, right, what did we do in front of 500 fans? Your job for the night was you came down and created that presentational image to say, this is a 7-foot guy. He's back. And we're putting our new guy up against him that we're saying is the big bad wolf, right? And the presentation of the size, which he forgot to step over the fucking top rope, but the idea, he was told to, so it's like the idea of him stepping over the top rope, and then you're back and they know who you are. And then they see this, now he's the number one contender. He goes to the table, and now Ethan has more purpose in the ring, and Shaq's at the table, and you've now said he's the number one contender. Now we're sending this thug to the table who's going to talk differently than everybody else. Now you got super white Doc Haywood, you got Sergio Santana, and now you got this guy that's going to drop N-bombs everywhere, and he's going to be wild and aggressive at the table because that's his man. That's who he is. And that presentation of this character hasn't been shown to the audience anywhere yet because nobody said, hey, this is who you are. Go out there and be who you are. And then now him and Ethan, it's the start, right? Now they have a start. I want to watch this damn match. As the guy standing back there doing this with the microphone, I want to watch this match now. Now there is a start to something. Now, how long it goes, I don't know. But in my head, I already know what's going to get this where it's going and deflect it because I have my stuff written out for a very long time. And it doesn't mean it's going to happen that way because there's shifts along the way. You know what I'm saying? But putting it in front of their eyes, man, that's what we're doing down there with you. We're putting these characters in front of their eyes because nobody expected bad news Sergio in primetime to actually be this dominating group from PCW, which it's turned into just because we started seeing stuff and putting it in there. So once you put it in front of their eyes, we got to start to tell this story. And the story can be really simple, man. Like our story's going, it could be as simple as, like I'm saying, oh, you chopped me too hard in the chest, and this is pro wrestling. So now I'm going to wear a catcher's protective, and I'm going to tell the referee, this is what I'm wearing. He snapped all the vessels in my chest. Don't let him do this again. So we have to put it in front of their eyes, and then we have to start the story. Nobody knows where it's going to end. And that's the thing. Let it simmer, man. Let it start. Let them talk. Let them talk, because you said it best. If they start talking to each other, if 150 people come to the show and they start talking to each other, and then they start talking to their friends, then what do we get?
You get a bigger audience. You continue to grow. Like I was talking to Larry about, these the ticket sales for this coming event, and it's the ticketing site gives you the the address and all the people, and it's just like I'm telling them about all the different towns that people are buying tickets from, and he's like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting someone to even know about this in such and such town," and then it's just like, and then it builds back on, well, you know what? People are coming from that town. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to flyer in that town also. It was something that I thought, oh, I didn't really think about it because it's not really quote unquote on the way. It's a town that's outside of the normal travel path. But somehow these people in this town heard about it. So it's just, I think it's really cool. And you have to assume that it is somebody from Yarrington said, hey man, I've got a friend in another town and you need to come see this, man. They're coming back to my town this time. Remember I was telling you about it last time, and you get that word of mouth, and you get that the fear of missing out, where someone was telling you about a time that they went to a pro wrestling show, and and that kind of, it gets into the reason that we don't run the same town month after month, right? Because we've talked about this a long time ago, where you don't want to have that situation where someone will go, oh, well, I won't go this month because I'll just go next month. But now, we were talking about our quote unquote home location, and we haven't been there for 5 or 6 months now.
Yep.
We've hit some other towns, and what a crazy thing. You hit a couple towns multiple times a year, and we're kind of on pace to maybe do towns maybe twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, to kind of create that situation where you go, well, shit, if I miss it this time, I'm going to have to wait 4 months or 5 months before they're going to come back. So, you start creating that type of situation, and then now you're getting those fans that go, man, well, I missed it in my town, but I'll go 30 or 40 minutes down the road because I know now it's happening in this other town that I can get to. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's what I'm going to do because I missed it in my own town. So, I think it's just, we've talked about this, hitting here and here and here, and then, even trying to fill in the gap between our two promotions, like where's the in between points. So I think that's, we're creating that, you said fear, the FOMO, the fear of missing out. We're creating that excitement for people where it's like, people don't want to miss it.
What did you just say? When I came down there, it was every month
in the
From
same
what
spot.
venue? What venue was it?
Oh, it's at Excel Christian. Yeah,
Okay.
we were
Yeah.
we run
Wait,
there every month for years. Yeah.
and how long has it been? You just said it. Since your venue that you only ran at over a year ago, the only venue you guys were running at, unless you caught a special event somewhere. And how long has it been since? Because how long you just said since we've been to that venue?
Yeah, I feel like it's been October was the last time.
It has. And there's been Boomtown, there's been Winnemucca, there's been Urington, Carson City, at a major venue in Carson City twice. Your main venue you haven't been to in 5 or 6 months, which was the only venue that was being used over and over and over. Do you not think that the fans around that area and all the fans that have been, you think they might be ready for a RWF show at Excel Christian's gym? I think so. And that's part of what we're talking about. Storytelling, putting it in front of their eyes, right? And you're putting it in front of their eyes everywhere. Everywhere. Every time you book, every time you run, you're putting something in front of their eyes, whether it's a fucking leprechaun, whether it's a chest protector, whether it's the referee having a problem with this heel. You're putting the booking in front of their eyes. You're starting the story is what we talked about, right? Starting the story is just putting that image in front of their eyes so they can see it. And once they see it, they go, oh, these two have a problem with each other. Story time. And then the next thing is we're moving it along. It's been 5 or 6 months since you've been to your home venue that you were very comfortable running just that place. 5 or 6 months. So what have we been doing the entire time? We've just been moving it along, right? We're in no rush. We're in no rush to give them because we have to go to every town you're running and start to tell them the story. And the booking and the story works around, what did we do here last time? What do these people remember? Okay, now the crowd's bigger. So what did the people before remember? And now what do we have to catch these fans up on? And it's not put it on the fucking screen and have them watch it, because the entrance videos and stuff, quick stuff, are cool to see on that screen. These fans did not pay their money to watch a fucking 3-minute video or story on a fucking screen at a live show. They'll follow you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, X, whatever the fuck is going on here. They'll watch it there, brother. Sometimes that's why I'm not really big on putting too long a story on that screen in Oroville or even over here at the building, because they're not there to watch that. It's cool to see the image and the video as the guy's coming out, but they'll watch that on their phone or on fucking TV or something. They're there to see that. So we're moving it along. And I think that's the most important thing that you talked about right there was we ain't been to this fucking place in six months. Think about that. It's crazy.
Right. Well, and then I feel like we're not going back there till May. So it is going to be several more months. Like, oh, we haven't seen this in our town for 7 months. You know, it's very reminiscent of
March 28th.
What's that?
Are we there March 28th?
No, March 28th is Winnemucca.
Urington. No, it's
20.
Oh
Hey man, your weekends leading up to those shows is going to be hectic. You know, I think you got Friday, Saturday, both of those times, and where you're traveling from somewhere far away. But yeah, so Yerington on the 21st, Winnemucca the 28th, and then we've got Skip in April. We've got back in May. in Sparks, and then we got the Memorial Day weekend back in Winnemucca, the 2-day.
That bad news. Hopefully, well, bad news is going to be depressed for months after that because Winnemucca is his favorite town. I wanted to. Yesterday was my first. Like this weekend coming up, I'm actually off. Right, like it's my first off, but I hadn't had a Saturday off in 6 weekends. So I woke up yesterday and I went out afterwards. We all went to In-N-Out, but then Jalen, Shaq, Maple, Jesse, and myself, I was the DD Zach, and just had such a great time, man, just with these guys. And Maple and Jesse ended up parking here, and then I was the DD, so they crashed here, and I got up and I didn't have anything to do, right? So I was like, you know what? My cousin's got gout from drinking too. He's got gout, and he's not going to stop anytime soon. But I hadn't seen him in a while, and I was like, dude, today is a great, beautiful day with nothing going on to get up and let's go barbecue. Let's go hang out, right? And it was a fun day of just coming up with like gout words, like no gout, you know what I mean? Or you're like, no gout about it. What's it all, what's that all about? You know what I mean? So just messing with him all day, and just had a really great day. But man, these weekends are full. Like, to anybody out there, man, I'm booked. You know what I mean? I'm booked up. Don't try to book me. I'm booked. I'm old. I don't got any interest in I'll come to the show. I'd love to hang out and watch my guys work, but I'm booked up, man. I'm full for the year, full for the next 5 years. Leave me the fuck alone. But I wanted to give a shout out to the Stars of Wrestling yesterday. Sparky called me, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was. I'm not going to speak on what really happened because I don't know, but I know something with the city or something. But they canceled the event, right? And they had all these big names and stuff there, and everyone coming to the event. So the promoter set up tables on the outside, and they did autographs and stuff, but he still paid everybody. So I know Christina Von Erie, and I don't remember the promoter's name. I'm sorry for butchering this. I don't know his name, so I'm not going to butcher it. But I just think that's really cool, man. And I want to give a shout out to Christina Von Erie and the Stars of Wrestling. Unfortunate, they promoted this event. They really, because I was down there, they made that Starplex a really nice place. But you're bringing in like Mickey James and ODB from back in the day at TNA, and all these workers, and people were excited about the show. And a promoter usually is like, man, I'm not going to pay you, or bail out the door, try to sneak away, or come up with excuses. But to still pay everybody because of an unfortunate event, and then put up tables and say, hey, man, just sit out here. Your booking is to sign autographs when the fans show up and sell your merchandise. So I thought that was really cool, man, that happened.
Yeah, that's awesome. You obviously don't hear about that very often. People getting paid when a show gets canceled, but it's one of those deals where you've probably already flown these people in, so they're paid to some extent to start with, and to kind of follow through with that. That it's you think about what was going on during the pandemic, and guys getting paid still, and your livelihood is pro wrestling, and if it's not going on, you're not paying your bills. So that's awesome to hear that that's still going on, and I don't know, obviously I hear so many times about the way that we run our stuff here, where people are walking in the door and I'm handing them their envelope. Obviously there's multiple jokes. Oh, okay, well, I guess I just don't have to work or whatever. It's like, well, no, the reason is so you don't have to wait after the show to for me to put money together, because for me, it's like that was one of the biggest irritations when I was working regularly, is you're like fucking following the promoter around, trying to get your envelope. So it's for me, it's like I don't want that to happen, and we've talked in the past, like if you don't have the money to run the show, you shouldn't be running this show. I don't know. It's a situation where you're going to your bank and you're taking the money out before the show starts to have the money for the workers. But I think it's important to make sure that there's no worry for the guys, like, oh well, I've already got paid, and so I don't have to worry. There's no animosity or anticipation of how hard should I work today? Am I going to end up actually getting paid, or I'm just trying to eliminate that completely. So people are like, all right, I'm already paid. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to bust my ass. I'm going to have a good match, and then hit the road. Money in hand, ready to buy some in and out.
Don't work hard at all.
Exactly.
Work the crowd hard. Don't work yourself hard at all, man. You get older, that drive home after working hard is a rough fucking ride home. That's a mistake I made last show. I ended up having a late practice on Thursday for Last Man Standing, and I went and picked up Rick. And then I was doing something, and we picked up Rick, and we never came home. We went to the Jackrabbit show for Ugly at the Ugly Dojo. We didn't get home till late. And then I'm like, oh, fuck. It's Friday. My bank's not open on Saturday. I had the majority of the money just sitting here, right? But it was like, fuck, I didn't even out to do that. I had most of the envelopes full, but that was, I made that mistake. It's not like the envelopes didn't get full by the time it ended, but that's one of my things, is handing it out beforehand. But there was like 80% that I handed out beforehand, and then the other 20% was my own guys. You know what I mean? It was no, but then that's the thing too. How many people did I use from outside? Because we used you, but I don't consider you outside talent. We use Rick. I don't consider him outside talent because I'm the only. He's my guy. I fly him in 4 times a year. Dreamy Drew, Jeff Skyrood, Boyce Legrand, but I also consider him one of my guys. Sparky, definitely one of my guys. So I think, like, realistically, if I was to say last show, I would say Jeff Skyrood and who did I say? Oh, Dreamy Drew. So 2. But then if I was to say you, Boyce, and Sparky, 5. I use 4 wrestlers and a referee that aren't from my home promotion, but I minus Rick from that. So 3 wrestlers. Yeah, 4 wrestlers and a referee from somewhere else. But they're not from somewhere else, they're from here. So it's like, that's been the really cool thing. And I guess it's a lot easier for me to write my stories and book because it's homegrown talent. I say it all the time. I love all the talent out there. I don't have a problem with them. I think a lot of people are very talented. They're just working other places. And I honestly, no knock on anybody, but I trust my guys. I trust myself. So I put the championship belt on myself, right? It's getting to the point now where anybody can be any champion because I trust everybody and I know they're going to be there. And that's a really cool feeling too.
That's exactly right, man. It's I guess that is a very good comment, considering like I'm putting together cards for the next 2 shows, and it's like, oh hey, sorry man, can't be there. I'm seeing different messages, and so I don't know. It's different from the way that it was last year, where I, try to put the here's all the dates in advance because I knew they're all going to be at the same venue. So, here's all the dates. What are you available for? And then even with that, it was, you had people that were like, "Oh, I'm in for everything," and then something came up closer to home or whatever. Oh, I'm going to go work this promotion instead. Um, and I definitely understand the need or the want for maybe being the guy on a promotion, right? Being the guy that everyone's going to come to and ask advice, and where you feel like you're giving back to the business, where you're coaching guys up and giving guys some advice on what to do, what not to do.
Head coaching them up.
Yeah, head coach. There it is.
Well, that's the thing, is like yesterday, Maple was like, "Hey man, I'm on the flyer. How come Paul don't have me in the group?" And then she goes, "Well, maybe it's because I have 2 accounts." And that's exactly what it was. But then there's Maple. Then there's Jalen, who this kid is going to be just a cool kid all the way around, man. Works so hard. But you look at him and you go, man, 6 feet 7 inches and just willing to be there. You know what I mean? He's got a wife, and he's 27. He's got a wife and 2 kids, man. And it's not like he's just hopping in a car and just going by himself either. He's taking his family on this journey with him too, which is really cool. See, what I really like, man, is we talk about, like, before the event, you're like, "Oh man, if you're bringing someone with you, you got to pay for a ticket." And it's like, dude, if you're a hardworking student and you got 2 young kids and your wife, and they're not a problem when they come to the show, and you're bringing your family with you, I'm not going to charge your family. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not charging that person. I'm not going to do that to that person, because that person is like, man, I'm going to give up my weekend, whether I'm booked or not, to come down here to help out, or the hope that there's a spot for me opened up. And I have the crew of guys, man, and it's like RC and Don, they still do the music. They're opening up for fucking Too Short and Chico at the Tackle Box. And I think that's the day of one of your shows. So it's like, they're committed to your show unless they're doing their music too, which is like crazy that these guys are doing both of these entertainment endeavors, and then there's just these people that are just all the guys. And then there's all this young talent I got too, man. One thing I wanted to talk about was, I just watched the new Legion of Doom formed on my own show. Propane and Manny, we've been talking about that. I watched 4 3-minute squash matches and 1 12-minute squash tag match. And afterwards, you go up to Andrew Pogson and Johnny Fuego and go, "You guys have earned the right to never get beat up like that again." Because what experience? I mean, they could have gone out there and they could have got 3 minutes of selling and getting beat up like that. Now they got fucking 12. And I'm sitting here going, fuck, I don't want to wrestle these guys. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not that they hurt him or anything. It's just, it was good work. And we talk about it all the time. I was talking about starting the story, putting it in front of their eyes, moving it along, challenges to overcome, right? And then there's this finish to whatever you're trying to tell. But that's putting it in front of their eyes. Here's this, they're in this shot in the dark match, but here's this new tandem that's decided to team up. 2 former PCW champions have decided to team up, and they're both known for being very offensive and violent. And now they're a team, and they team in Oroville because they're both so well known in Oroville, so it makes sense. And it's like, so okay, we put it in front of their eyes, and now that we put it in front of their eyes, we got to put it in front of the eyes of Marysville. We got to put it in front of the eyes of the audience in Oroville. We got to put it in front of the eyes of the audience in Red Bluff, So now we're putting this in front of their eyes so people go, fuck, my God. Now we got to go back to all those towns and start a story. And then we get to come back to all those towns and move it along. And then once we've put it in front of their eyes, started the story the second time, started to move it along, and there's no time frame in how long you can move it on. You can come back to all these towns fucking 2 times or 20 times and move this story along. But the cool part along the way is the challenges to overcome, Paul. And what I mean by the challenges to overcome is you're watching Netflix or something, and these two are a couple, and you get to see it in the series for a season or two, and then season 3 they break up, or they break up. They're no longer a couple, or this one cheats on that one, or whatever, and you're just like, you feel that because you get to know that character over 2 seasons. And then they break up and you're like, you fucking moron. Why did you cheat on her? You know what I mean? Like, I thought you guys were going to be together forever. And then that season continues. And the finish to that is maybe they get back together.
You're just hoping, right? Well, and obviously that has a lot to do with the type of story that you're telling. Is it compelling enough where people are interested, right? Are you keeping people's interest for this whole time? And like we said, like, are you hopefully with the pro wrestling example, are you having these people that are like, okay, well, I went to this show in Sparks, Nevada. Now I'm going to go to the show at Boomtown that's 20 miles down the road. But now there's a show in Yerington, and that's 75 miles one direction. And then there's one in Carson, and that's 35 or 40 miles one way. Are you going to be able to keep these people's interest enough where they're willing to follow this stuff around and make the trip, and and hopefully you're giving people their money's worth. I've talked about that for years. When people ask about ticket prices, oh, well, you can't charge this much money for a ticket, right? And I say, well, sure you can, as long as people go there and they feel like they're getting their money's worth. It's not a big deal. Like, I like watching comedy stuff, but I'm like, I look at these different shows, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I could pay $85 or whatever to go to a comedy show. But that's what you want to build. You want to build that the value where people go, hey man, I was entertained. I was following along. I got lost in the moment, whatever the way that they put it. But if people feel like they got their money's worth for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and they go, man, it's creating memories. It's a memorable time, creating moments. We always talk about. If you have fans that are feeling like you're giving them a good value for their money, then they're going to continue to watch, and they're going to continue to follow you wherever you go, within reason, obviously. But it's great to know that that's like I said, I'm reading off this list of all these different towns of people that are buying tickets to a Yerington show, and I feel like Larry knows every town around here. It's like, obviously he's been around for a while, and it's just been funny that it's like he knows like little spots in like just random towns. Oh, hey, did you check out this place? I was like, I've never heard of it. So, oh, you got to check it out. It's like we went to breakfast the other day, and he's just like, has me meet him at a different place, and we go sit down, and I'm looking, and it's like, a breakfast is like $8.99, and he's like, it's pretty inexpensive, huh? And I said, yeah, I've never been to this place in my life, and I've lived here for almost 30 years, so it's crazy.
Old dog can't teach the old dog new tricks, right? I was sitting there before this show, and Propane dropped off his son, Little Big Will. And Little Big Will is called Little Big Will because he's not very little at all. He actually makes his dad look like a dwarf. You know what I mean? Because his kid's like 6. I think he just turned 17 maybe. And he's like 6'6", 350 pounds. You know what I mean? Love the kid to death. And Reno was here. And we went to Sam's Club. And I'm like, man, they helped me set up the building over there, put the canvas on, tie it down, the chairs, all that. And I'm like, man, I'm going to buy these kids. I'm going to barbecue for these kids. And I go to get the stuff and I buy the match light, instant light charcoal because Bad News came over and bought regular charcoal and fucking the
lighter fluid.
And it doesn't, I got to sit out there and almost burn myself continuing to do it. And I told him to get instant light, cocksucker. But I took him over there and I was like, well, I'm going to pay almost upwards to $60 for everything I'm trying to do. And then I got to do the work. And the show, I don't want to do all that before the show. I want to relax. So I look over and I'm like, well, fuck. I'm like, I'm a member here. Let's just go get a full pizza and some sodas. So I go to the thing because they don't have the register to order it. A large 4-meat fresh full pizza, which was amazing, and 3 large sodas to refill whenever we want was $12.49. And these are 2 big kids. They were full. They refilled their sodas 3 or 4 times. I was thinking at first, I was like, all right, we'll get this, go home, sit down. I'm like, this is coming out fresh and hot. There's tables right here, free refills. Why wouldn't we eat here? Because I grabbed all the condiments. I grabbed the red pepper flakes and stuff. And you're just talking about eating for $8.99. And it's like, why does In-N-Out Burger, why is it so popular? It's not popular because it's the best food. It's got a simple menu. People go there because you can get a double with fries and a soda for $12. Fuck you go anywhere else for? Gas just went up to like $5, $6 a gallon. And you're going to get those people that go, well, I'm going to need a $40 boost if you want me on your show because gas is a little more expensive. It's like, get in the car with somebody else. Pitch in for gas. We know gas is expensive.
It's kind of funny. Like I spend the majority of my day at Walmart, and I always tell one of the kids that works for another company, I was like, when I see the older guys working there, I always feel you always feel bad. It's like, man, I hope I'm not 65, 70 years old and still working at a job like Walmart, being a greeter or some sort of hourly associate, and then I'm like, I said to this kid who has no idea, I always think when these older guys, that they must have been friends with Sam Walton. And I go, their employee number must be in a single digits. You work for a company that's, maybe hasn't been around that long. Maybe, it's 20, 30 years old or whatever. And you think there might be people that are working here since this place opened and their employee number might be single digits. And this kid had no idea what I was talking about. He's like, who's Sam Walton? I was like, that's the guy that opened this fucking company, Sam's Club and Walmart, Sam Walton, that's him. So now it's the inside joke. It's like, oh, Sam Walton, he's putting it together here, right? It's like, yeah. And obviously you think about Costco. I feel like I watched a documentary on Costco and the $1.50 hot dog and a drink. It's like, yeah. It's been the same price for that long, man. And I remember my parents having a Costco membership specifically so they could go have lunch at Costco for just $1.50 each. It's almost like the floating 5. Like it's going across the screen.
Well, when we get better production, right?
It's
Look
the
at that.
ticker.
In sync, me and you.
It'd
You
be
are
like
my
it'll be,
fire.
that's it, man. It's almost like the ticker tape.
I'd
goes
like to be
across
a
the screen.
member of Kentucky Fried Chicken, so maybe I can get my shit a little cheap. And everything's cheaper online. Everyone's doing the apps and stuff like that. Fuck, that old soul Ethan Reno reminded me that not reminded me, let me inform me that they don't manufacture, they quit making pennies now.
Right, because it's more expensive to make it than it's worth. That's crazy. Yeah.
He's like, fuck, the pennies are done, man. That's what my dad used to save up water jugs full of those things for years and then roll them all up. And that was the thing back in the day too. There was no machine that you went and dumped them in. And how they got it now, it was like you literally, if you had $1,000 in pennies, you literally had to roll up over 1,000,000 pennies and get 1,000,000 penny rolls. And it's just everything. There's so much access to everything now, and that's what I'm getting into. So just a quick recap for everybody out there. Storytelling. Put it in front of our eyes. I'm giving you shit right here, ladies and gentlemen. If you watch the podcast, hit the subscribe button because you're obviously not, and that's okay. Probably takes a little work, and I understand. A lot of people are just using YouTube for free, just like myself. So I get why the logging in or creating an account to hit that subscribe button might be not as fast as we'd like, but put it in front of their eyes. It ain't about starting the story. Starting the story is putting it in front of their eyes. You got to put it in front of our eyes. If you're wrestling one venue, it should be easy. If you got multiple venues, you got multiple times to put it in front of our eyes. That's the start of the story, okay? Move it along. Move it along. Give us some challenges along the way. Some challenges for the baby face to actually overcome. And then when you close that story down, get ready to know where you're going with the next story. And one thing I wanted to say before we closed out, I always hear people go, man, I want to make a heel. I need to go heel. I want to go baby. Sorry, I forgot my quotes. I'm going to tell you something. If you're a baby face who's selling merchandise and the fans love you, there's no fucking reason to go heel. If you're a heel who the fans hate, despise, and loathe, there's no reason to go baby. But if you are working for a company and you notice, man, this guy sold 1 million t-shirts last month. And then now, even with his new one out, he only sold 200,000. Okay, maybe you can turn that guy heel because maybe his popularity has hit the pinnacle, ladies and gentlemen. But just reminder, just put it in front of our eyes. That's where all this gets going. If you don't let us see it and what you're trying to tell us, just put it there first. That's the only way we can get there.
That's right. Put it in front of. Oh, I thought that was I thought you were going the J.R. Ryder, the East Bay Funk Dunk.
Isaiah. Oh God. That's
you're going old school with Isaiah Ryder, huh?
J.R. Ryder from the Minnesota Timmy Wolves. Hey, when I say we're saying put it in front of us, put it in front of our eyes. It's like if we told them to put it in my mouth. What? Just to put it in my mouth. If we told people that, they'd be masters of the universe at telling these stories, right? How many offensive things can we get off in the next 15 seconds? Hey, poop. No, I'm just playing with everybody.
That would make the thumbnail of one of the videos. That was
Let's see if we can get with.
I told the kid at work the fifth base. It was a great story.
We're going there. You ever hit a home run plus one? I'll take a home run plus one. What's that? Fifth base. What's that? You're not ready for it yet, pal. Not yet. You're not ready for the septic system to be installed, drilled, and put in around the local colleges and district schools. But for that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Zachy Joe, Primetime Reeb. I'm joined alongside the Wrecking Ball, Paul Isadora, and hit that subscribe button. And remember, we be going over.